Hi there, good morning. My name is Yannick, and this is another morning recording episode. It's been a while that I recorded because I wanted to promote the other ones that I have already and then get as many organic listeners as I can get, which means that I get enough listeners without actually paid promotion. So I'm still in the process of that, and it's working so far. I'm getting outside my sphere of old listeners, and now we're progressing to a new sphere, and I really enjoy that. I like the progress I'm making, and I think everyone was listening so far. I also wanted to get to a particular number. There's a number in my head that I'm trying to reach, and so until I reach that number, I'm trying not to water down the podcast. So that's why I'm not recording so much, but just to show that I'm still alive and I'm still interested in this podcast thing. I'm doing this episode, and I hope that you enjoy it. That's the first thing that I wanted to say. So I'm still here, I'm still active, I'm just trying to promote the other ones as organically as possible for me. So Ramadan Kareem to all Muslim faithfuls, our friends, families, colleagues, listeners, people all over the world are fasting right now. Muslim faithfuls are fasting right now for the next 30 days from sun up to sundown, and I wish strength for them. I wish peace. I wish answered prayers in Allah's name for them. So I pray that whatever your heart desires while you go through this period, that God grants you. Ramadan Kareem. Thank you. And as you pray and fast, please put us in your prayers as well. Us as a nation, us as the world generally. A lot is going on right now, and it's great that we have this period as well in this time, and I hope that all our prayers get answered, and I hope that the world heals from all of the atrocities going on. Ramadan Kareem once again. Yes, so another thing is, I wanted to say I have a piece on Medium. I wrote a three-part piece to little girls, and I just want you to read it, please. It's very important. Just Google Yannick Naija. Follow the trail. I always say people should just Google Yannick Naija and follow the trail. Follow all the blogs that I appear on, but most importantly, this one is on Medium. So just search for Yannick Naija on Medium and engage the post. It's very insightful, and it took my soul to actually write that. So I hope that you show your nieces, your nephews, your nephews, your sisters, your daughters, everyone. Please engage. Thank you so much. So we'll get right into it. And today I'm talking about temporary emotions and permanent outbursts or permanent reactions to temporary emotions, and how dangerous they can be. So for some people that know me, they might know that I'm a perfectionist. When I'm writing, which is why I've never published as in a physical book, because I've been trying to finish, and I don't think I'll ever get to that place where my mind says, oh, now you've done a perfect job. And that's a problem for people like me, because we always strive for perfection. There's nothing like perfection in this world. So I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I plan my week ahead, I plan my day ahead, I plan my meals for the week ahead. I do all those little tiny things that make it seem like if I don't do it, I would have a problem with my mind. My mind would have a problem rationalizing things, because it just expects everything to be perfect. And it's a problem. And the major problem here is whenever I made a setback, every time I get to a point where there's something I should have done or I couldn't do, I couldn't achieve, my brain goes into this meltdown phase where I go into extreme form of anger and sadness at myself, dejectedness for myself. And that is where temporary emotions come in. The feelings of dejectedness, the feelings of sadness, the feeling of being incompetent. They're temporary, but sometimes I find myself making permanent decisions based on those temporary feelings. For example, calling off maybe because I feel incompetent today, and there was this thing I was supposed to apply for, and I feel like, see, I'm so incompetent. I just pull myself out of the competition or pull myself out of that situation because I feel incompetent. And then 5 days later, I'm feeling good again. I'm feeling like a great writer again, for example. And I realized, see, but I already pulled out of that stuff because for like an hour or two, I was having this overwhelming feeling of sadness and incompetence that I felt that I couldn't achieve anything great. And so I keep this phase going on, and it's been on for years. But COVID really changed a lot of things for me. Before COVID, I always had my months planned, savings, what I'm supposed to achieve, work-wise, financial-wise, what else now? Work-wise, creative side of me wise as well, and then progressing career-wise as well. So I always had this plan, like, okay, so this thing has to work at this time, and then after this one. But COVID humbled me because I realized that, see, I'm not even the ruler of time. I don't even know how time is measured. I just assume that I know, and then I make my plans based on those assumptions. Just imagine COVID happened and everything had to be on hold. There's literally nothing I or anyone in the world can do right now if the universe doesn't decide it's time for us to get back to normal. And that really took me back a few steps, and I started thinking about where I was as a person. And so that's what brings me to temporary emotions. Temporary emotions of dejectedness, sadness, loss, anger sometimes make us do permanent damage to situations, relationships, and even our lives sometimes. Temporary emotions, for example, lost. You're with someone, you're extremely in love with this person's body, like you just can't wait to be with that person. And then you damn all the effects, you damn all the consequences, and just sleep with this person without a condom. I've had people who became attached to a life partner. Maybe she got pregnant for them. Maybe most of the time it always has to do with pregnancy. You now get, because you couldn't control yourself for like 10 minutes, you just decide to do something completely foolish, and before you know it, you're hooked to this terrible person or this person you don't even know that well for the rest of your life. Even if you don't marry the person, which is mostly the case, you don't have to marry the person to be attached. The person has your child, and then that's a whole different ball game from there on. Lust is one, anger is another one, and anger can be so damning. The effect of temporary and permanent things we do because of temporary anger can be so damning. You know, I had this person that I liked, not liked like that, but you know, normal. I just liked this person, but there was this day, in a fit of rage, he gave me some form of reaction. He wasn't angry with me, he was angry with someone else, but because I was present in that situation, I got a bit of the anger myself. And you know, like some minutes, hours later, he apologized and said he was just angry and all of that. And then this same incident happened another time again. He was angry with someone else, I was there, and then he just flipped up for me like that, and I stopped talking to him, like totally just cut him off, because I don't get it. Anger is a temporary emotion. You can be angry, but you don't have to ruin relationships, ruin friendships. Get angry to the point that you can't take back some words just because you're upset at that moment. You know, we humans always assume that our emotions are larger than us, but they are not most of the time. No emotion is larger than a human being. That's what I believe. That's what I've come to know. When you're in love with someone, you feel like, oh, this is just the end. I can't even feel anything else. But I can tell you that you will feel something else if you allow yourself. If you give yourself that mindset that, see, I can feel something else. It's just for now. It will actually help you better, So, temporary emotions shouldn't be allowed to judge or decide how we make decisions about life. When you are angry, take some time off. Walk away from that situation that is upsetting you and think clearly about anything you say, about anything you do, about whatever decision you make at that point. You need to actually leave the situation and think calmly. Because if you make decisions while you're upset, while you're angry, while you're impatient, while you're sad, you're likely to make the wrong decision. And that's like the holy grail of it all. When you're extremely lustful and then you say, damn the effect, I'm just going to sleep with this girl without wearing condom. Damn the effect, I'm just going to have this one night stand in this club with this random stranger. Damn the effect. But sometimes you could end up being in serious trouble just because you're damning the effect. There was a time that I was very impatient. I was really rushing. I was in a very bad mood and I wanted to make a recharge. And I recharged the wrong line. So all the rushing, I had to take a breather after I recharged the wrong line. Like an unknown number. I had to calm down and say, okay, so now that I was rushing, I've now made a mistake. Can I take this back? Can I actually get my money back? No, there's nothing I can do. It has gone. And the person I'm angry with, or the person that I'm upset with, or the person making me rush out of anger doesn't even know that I've made this costly mistake because of where they put me. Do you understand? And in a few minutes or in a few hours, I will not be as angry as I was. So what is the rush about? And another thing is dissatisfaction, temporary dissatisfaction, making permanent decisions based on temporary dissatisfaction, leaving a relationship because right now that person is not doing it for you. Right now that person is not present, someone who has always been there, or someone you've been with for a while, and then suddenly the person is not doing it for you. But because you want a right now solution, you just up and leave the relationship, and then you walk into the arms of another partner that looks like, see, I'm everything you need right now. Do you get? And you're there already. 3 months down the line, you realize it's the same roller coaster. There's nobody that is going to be there permanently, happy morning, afternoon, night. The same thing they did yesterday is what they'll do today. There'll be days that some things are off. But do you have to leave the entire relationship because those days are off? Do you have to walk away when someone or something, just one or two things are off about somebody? I'm not saying that you see big red flags and you stay, but you get what I'm saying. It has happened to the best of us. You're in a relationship with someone. Maybe you guys talk every day and everything is sweet and rosy and he's always showering you praises every day. And then for a particular week, he's really busy at work. He's really telling you he's busy. He doesn't even have time to send you good morning text and all of that. You're the one reaching out to him 100 times, like, babe, what's up? What are you doing? Like, I'm busy. I'm actually busy. You know what? I'll call you when I get home. And he forgets to do that. And then in your head, there's one guy that has been checking you. That one sends you good morning. That one sends you good night. That one does everything. In that moment, you're like, see, fuck it. This boy doesn't even have my time. Okay, let me just move on. Temporary feelings, temporary emotions, temporary problems, and then you're already looking for a permanent solution to it. And this can happen in so many spheres of our lives. It can happen in so many ways. And it takes strength and maturity to be able to understand that this is temporary. This is temporary, and I'm not going to make a permanent decision based on what I'm feeling right now. Even this advice I'm giving out, I actually need it myself. Like the relationship aspect, I can be a very patient girlfriend, do a lot of crazy things. I'll just stay no wala, just we'll walk through it, or we'll see what the possible solution is. But when I get to the point where I feel like, see, I'm not getting the vibe, it can be a short time frame that I'm not getting the vibe, but my mind is already fleeting. Like, I'm already like, see, move on. You don't have time for this rubbish. But with maturity comes a sense of, what if the person is actually busy? There are weeks in your life too that you're extremely busy and you can't reach out to people, and you need to be understood at those times. So what if that's what the person is going through? What if the person actually needs something but can't say it yet? What if so many things could be wrong, apart from the person is tired of the relationship, and then you move on to the next person, and 2 weeks in, your boyfriend is back and is acting straight, and he's like, see babe, see that last week I was going through a lot. But now you already left him, or you already ended things, or you already moved on with someone else, just because at that time something was wrong. So I'm very particular about seeing the signs of temporary feelings. Dissatisfaction at your job. I'm just wanting to leave, like, immediately. Like, I'm so tired, I just want to go now, without an action plan. Going now would even be more detrimental than staying. Like that fleeting emotion of, oh, let's just go first, I'll figure it out later. It's not realistic. Fine, you're dissatisfied at this time. If you give yourself time, dissatisfaction can go on for a long time. It can span for a while, but you have to have an action plan. You don't just up and leave things because you're dissatisfied at that moment. You don't just up and leave relationships. You don't just up and leave a job, a committed maybe project or something, just because you're dissatisfied at that time. You don't just end friendships because one of your friend got too busy with life and she doesn't call you as much as she used to, or say you sleep with someone randomly just because at that moment you're very weak and all of that. And so sleeping with someone, that part is, it can be debatable. That, see, I'm a girl, I'm a grown woman, I can do whatever I want to do. I agree that that's fine. But what I mean is, you knowing fully well that because you're lonely, or you feel some type of sadness and you just don't want to be alone at night, and then you reach out to people you're not supposed to reach out to, and then you hang out with people you're not supposed to hang out with, and then you do things with them that you're not supposed to do with them, just because you feel empty inside temporarily, and then 2 days down the line, you've been shagging this person that you don't even, it's not like you even vibe with the person. Before you know it, you're already in one fake relationship, you're already in one pseudo relationship, just because you were lonely for a couple of nights, And I know a lot of us will say, no, not me. This happens a lot. I'm giving you so I'm not. This podcast is not like an open debate, so it's probably just for your hearing alone, and then you can just soul search and find out those things you do permanently that could permanently change the course of your life, just because you have a temporary emotion, and try changing them today. So the first thing you tell yourself is, it is not permanent. Anytime you're going through something, anger, sadness, love, loss, pain, whatever emotion it is not permanent. Nothing is ever permanent. None of those feelings are ever permanent. And I'm very particular about this because I've gone through the most ridiculous roller coaster of emotions in my lifetime. I've fallen in love like I can't even imagine how many times I've fallen in love. And at every point, honestly, truly, people say you only experience love once. It's a lie. I have actually genuinely loved people more than once or twice in my lifetime. And at the time, it felt like it was just the perfect test. Like, it was just the most magical of all emotions. And this was the one true one. But it ended. And I got sad. And I got over it. And I fell in love again. And that's the cycle of life. When you're angry with someone, you're so mad at the person, you could actually rip their heart out. And you could say all of the horrible things in this world to that person. And then 2 weeks later, you could actually hear the person is sick and your mind is like, okay, let me call the person and then be nice to this person, because you actually don't hate that person permanently because of what they did to you 2 weeks ago. You were just very angry with them at that moment. I have an ex that I was so angry with, like, oh God. Sometimes I'm still angry with him because a lot of things went down. Time wasting, a lot of manipulation and all of that. I was so angry with him, like, so angry. Oh God, I could rip his heart out at that moment. The moments when I was angry. Then one day I was reading a story of someone being kidnapped on the way to Warri, and this person travels a lot that route. And in my mind I was like, yeah, God, if they should go and kidnap this boy, I gotta kill him. I don't want that to happen. And so I was calling an ex that I thought I hated like mad. I just dropped a message, say, I hope you're fine. Don't go to that route. They said they're kidnapping people there, blah, blah, blah. And so minutes later, I was like, laughing at myself, saying, wait. But you were so angry with this person last week, I could actually bite his head off if you were given the chance to. Just imagine I had seen him at that time and I had thrown something at him because I was angry. Or I had said something irreparable because I was angry. Or I had done, of course I must have said a lot of things to him because I was angry, but nothing irreparable, Or I had thrown something at him and said, it's because I was angry, I was mad. You can't blame me, you really offended me. It really offended me. I always see those arguments online when people do a lot of BS things to other people, and they're like, you don't know what you did to her. She must have been very angry. So she was very angry and she poisoned him. She was very angry. She set the house ablaze. What do you mean? Temporary emotions, permanent solutions, permanent disasters to temporary emotions. These are things we need to watch out for. And I tell you, anger doesn't last forever. Sadness doesn't last forever. Pain doesn't last forever. Joy doesn't last forever as well. You can be happy this morning and the afternoon you are sad. You're like sad potatoes. You don't even know what's going on. And love doesn't last forever too. There's nothing like the ultimate love. It's the only one I can love, so I'll die for him. Nah, there's nothing like that. You probably fall in love again. You probably get to hate someone else again. You probably get to be angry again. You probably get to be happy again. So it's just a cycle of life. It comes, it goes, it comes, it goes. And if you understand that it's a cycle, you'll be able to live through it. And that's how I go each day. I always say that now I can go through any form of emotional heartache because I know that it's temporary. I know it will go away. Weeping may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning. That's me quoting the Bible right there. I feel good. Anyway, so I hope that I've been able to tell you a thing or two. I hope that I've been hippie while recording this. Why am I so happy and giddy? I don't know, but I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you learned something. So always remember that whenever you're going through emotions, whenever you're going through things, they're temporary, and please do not make permanent decisions based on those. Try to live it a day at a time. Think about the consequences of your actions very deeply before taking them. And, be more responsible basically with your life. It's your life. Be more responsible with it because, a little mistake could just go and blast everything off. So yeah, that's my advice to you. Have a great weekend, guys. If you're listening to this on the weekend, and if you're not, anytime you listen to it, please have a great day. Have a great year. Have a great week. Have a great everything. Yannick loves you. Bye.